Hey everyone, it's a girl Shauna J. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I so appreciate you being here. In today's video, we are going to continue with the note series that I do have going on my channel. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I know doing note series could be a little bit complicated because it's so specific to one thing, but I'm trying to do the notes that you guys are asking me for. A couple of you guys responded and let me know that you want me to talk about Pear fragrances. Now, I do have a lot of Pear fragrances in my collection because I do enjoy Pear a lot. I think Pear is one of those notes that could be very subtle, so sometimes it is very hard to pinpoint Pear in a fragrance. So I wanted to just bring you guys fragrances with Pear notes that are very prominent, very dominant, and you could definitely smell the Pear. Because if you really go through, say, the Fragrantica database, there's a lot of fragrances with Pear in there that really shocked me because I was like, oh my god, I don't smell Pear there. I don't want to bring those to you guys. I want you to be able to spray the perfume out and say, yes, I could smell the Pear. That's basically what we're gonna do. So if you are a true Pear lover, this video is definitely for you. Let's jump right into these fragrances. The very first fragrance that we have on this list is one that definitely speaks Pear. It screams Pear. So if you are a true Pear lover, you're most definitely or most likely gonna like this fragrance. It has a very unusual scent, but it's not weird. It's from the house of Guess and it's called Dare Guess or Dare. I'm not really sure. If you truly love Pear, this is one to look into because it definitely gives Pear. It's not bombarded by the other notes. It's not hiding under the other notes. It's just giving Pear. As soon as you smell this one, you're gonna smell the Pear. The Pear note that I'm picking up on here is actually pear blossom. So it's not the actual fruit, but by the smell of things, you won't be able to tell. Now the Pear here is slightly sweet, but it smells like a fresh pear, and it does smell like a golden pear. You know when a pear is ripe and just ready to eat, it's juicy? That's the Pear that I'm getting here. Now, because of that cactus flower in the heart, the fragrance does have a bit of a green type scent. So under that juicy sweet pear, there's something green under the fragrance, which kind of makes me think about nature. It's like walking into a garden and there's a big pear tree. The pear is ripe, it's juicy, it's ready to eat, but there's like this green leaf attached to it. That's kind of what I envision when I smell this fragrance. It is very fruity, but there's a nice floral aspect to the fragrance. If you like greenery and pear and juiciness, oh my god, you love this fragrance. Beautiful, beautiful fragrance. This is Dear Guess, and of course, this is from the house of Guess. The next fragrance that I have on this list is one that I think I talk about all the time. I always feel bad when I do that because, I mean, who wants to hear about the same fragrances? But it's a fragrance that I really do like. I adore the pear note in this fragrance. I don't have anything else in my collection that smells quite like this. So if you're into pear fragrances, this is one that I think you like, especially if you're looking for a fragrance that steps out of the box just a little bit. It is by Marc Jacobs, and this one is called Decadence, also Decadent. So yes, this is a flanker to the original Decadence fragrance. The most prominent notes that you're gonna pick up here is the pear. Now the pear in this fragrance is actually green. It's unfit. Whenever I smell this, it doesn't make me want to eat it. It's not like the Guess perfume where you're like, oh my god, I want to eat that, because you could tell that it's probably a golden pear that's really juicy. In here, I don't want to eat this pear. I just want to smell it. It's very green. It's very tart. Now the ivy in here adds even more greenness to the fragrance. It does pull very green, fresh, dewy, tart. There are some white florals in here that kind of balances things out. You definitely get the white flowers in here. I really adore the dry down on this fragrance. It does retain that clean, fresh, tart pear along with that green scent, but it just gets a little bit more woodsy and musky and airy. It's so beautiful, and that's the reason why I always talk about this fragrance. I don't think it's safe to blind buy this fragrance because, you know, it does step out of the box just a little bit, but to me it doesn't step far out of the box. I wouldn't really smell this fragrance on someone and think, oh, that smells weird. I would think, oh, Okay, I wonder what that is. You'll be intrigued by it in a very positive way. So yeah, this is Decadence, also Decadent, and this is by Marc Jacobs. The next fragrance that I have on this list is on the sugary side. So if you are not into those cleaner, fresher pear fragrances, then you may need to pay attention to this one because this one is completely different. This is sweet and sugary. This is a delicious fragrance. Maybe not edible, but it certainly smells sweet and it does have a delicious type of scent to it. It's from the house of Cacharel, and this one is called Anais Premier Delice. I hate saying that. I feel so weird saying that, Anais. But you guys told me, okay? You guys told me that that's how it's pronounced. So yeah, but it feels weird. Anais. Like, I don't know. It's just me. Anyway, so like I was saying, this fragrance is definitely on the sweeter side. It's definitely sugary, but it gives pear, and that's what I love about this fragrance. It's another fragrance that pulls very heavy on that pear note. So delicious to the point of being intoxicating. This is a floral, fruity, gourmand scent, and you do get all aspects of that. The dominant notes that you're gonna smell here are for sure the pear and the cacao. You're also gonna pick up on the peony just a little bit. It's not prominent at all, but you just know that there's something floral there because it's not like a straight up gourmand scent. Like when I smell this, I don't necessarily feel like eating it, but it's very sweet and it's a very delicious scent. Now, I don't know why, but every single time I smell this fragrance, I think about a pear pie. You know, the center of the pie, not necessarily the crust, but that sweet, ooey gooey middle part, that melty part. To me, that's what it smells like. This does smell very similar to Irresistible Givenchy by Givenchy. The only difference is, in my opinion, the Givenchy fragrance does pull a tad bit fresher and a little bit more floral, while this has more of a thick, warm, heavier scent. But there is some freshness to this fragrance, but the Irresistible fragrance pulls just a little bit fresher, in my opinion. I think I sprayed on the Guess fragrance, but I really want to spray this on. Oh. If you love pear, definitely try this fragrance out. The more I wear this one, the more I'm falling in love with it. So this is Anais Premier Delice, and this is by Cacharel. Definitely check this out. The next fragrance that we have on this list is from the house of DKNY. This one is called Be Extra Delicious. This is another sweet, sugary, delicious pear fragrance. So this is another one to pay attention to if you like those sweeter, more sugary pear fragrances. Also on the affordable side, you could get this one for around 20 something bucks. No more than that. Yeah, like 20 something bucks. I want to just remind myself, oh my God, it's so sweet. Like it hits the back of your throat. If you're into those sweet kind of fragrances, you'll definitely like it. Now, it does kind of give me the same vibe as the Anais fragrance. It really does, but there are some differences here. But I think the pear is kind of handled the same way. So they're very sugary. It's not gourmand in the way where I would want to eat it, but it's still a very sweet fragrance, if you understand what I mean. Now, the dominant notes that I get from this one are the pear and the caramel. I'm also able to pick up on some sort of like added fruitiness, which is probably coming in from the raspberry. So if you think you like a combination of sweet sugary pear with caramel and raspberry, try this fragrance out. I would say though that this pulls more like pear than this fragrance. I would say that the pear is probably not the dominant note here, more the caramel, but you could definitely still smell the pear under that. The next fragrance that I have here is a fragrance mist, and it's by Victoria's Secret. It's very old school. It's been around since I've been in high school, and who knows how long before that this one was around. It's called Pear Glaze. So if you know, you know. This one, like I said, has been around for so many years, and I think if you like pear, this is definitely one to check out. I'm pretty sure they still have this one on the Victoria's Secret website, so if you want to try this one out, you're still able to try it out. Now, this fragrance does have sugared pear and cassava melon. I'm not really sure what cassava melon is. After high school, I did purchase a bottle and I went through the complete bottle. Unfortunately, I haven't really worn this one in a while because I used to wear this while I was in a previous relationship, and you know how that goes. Like, scents are very powerful. It could bring you back to a particular place or time in life, and sometimes you don't want to revisit certain places or certain times, at least in your memory, and this one kind of does that. And I'm pretty sure if he smells this fragrance, he will probably remember me because it was my signature scent in my early 20s. Let's talk about what this smells like. Now, the Pear here doesn't necessarily smell realistic. It doesn't smell like an actual pear fruit. It does smell quite synthetic, so if you don't like that, this may not be something that you'll enjoy. For me, it's not a big deal. It's still a very pleasant scent. It does have a boozy quality. It's also very watery, so this is a synthetic pear with some wateriness and a bit of a boozy undertone. Yeah, that's basically what I get from this fragrance. This is a one I would recommend that you blind buy unless you are feeling very adventurous. Then I would say, okay, fine, go ahead. But yeah, very unusual pear scent. This is Pear Glaze and it's by Victoria's Secret. The next fragrance that I have on this list is a celebrity scent. It's by Nicki Minaj, and this one is called Onika. Now, this fragrance is a really nice pear fragrance. It's another fragrance where you could definitely smell the pear. It's also on the sweet, sugary side. It pulls a bit, I would say, juvenile in a way, and yes, it does have a celebrity perfume type scent. But if you follow my channel, y'all know I don't care about stuff like that. Okay, if it smells good, it smells good. It could be vintage, it could be new school perfume, it could be a fragrance mist. If it smells good, it's going on the body. So I don't really care about stuff like that, but I like to put things like that out there for those of you guys who care. Maybe you don't want to smell like a celebrity perfume, so I want to put that out there. So I'm definitely getting that tropical vibe from this fragrance. You already know that this fragrance must have been inspired by her background. She's from Trinidad, so she does have those roots, okay? This is one of those fragrances that you could describe as sweet and creamy and milky, lactonic, so it gives that kind of vibe. The dominant note that you're gonna get here is the pear. The pear here is so beautiful. It's so sweet, but you also get that sugar cane, so it's also very sugary. And you get that tropical feel from the star fruit. Even though it is long lasting, it doesn't project much after a couple of hours, but you could easily fix that by just tapping up, okay? So if you're looking for a sweet pear fragrance that pulls a bit creamy and lactonic and milky with a bit of a tropical vibe to it, definitely try this fragrance out. So this is Onika, and this is by Nicki Minaj. So the next fragrance that I have here is actually a fragrance mist. So yes, I do love a good fragrance mist. I just cannot help myself. I have to buy them when I see them, especially because a lot of times perfumes don't give off the type of scent that you could find in a good fragrance mist. And this is a good example, okay? So this is Toasted Honey. And this one is by Victoria's Secret. Now, I'm not really sure why they call this one Toasted Honey. There's no honey in this fragrance, so that's kind of weird. But let's just go through the notes. This one has candied pear and toasted hazelnut. So we have candied pear, toasted hazelnut. Now, the pear here is very sugary, of course. It is so good. Like it says here, this is a candied pear. You could definitely smell the pear here. Like, it does register as pear, but it's very sweet, very sugary. And that toasted hazelnut gives the fragrance a slight nuttiness and a slight toasty scent, but not overly so. Because of how sweet and sugary this one is, I do like to use this when it's a little bit cooler outside, and maybe throughout the fall months or throughout the wintry months. I like to wear this fragrance because it's more of a sweet, warm fragrance. So yeah, it's more appropriate. You could wear this any time of year, but I find it to be more appropriate to wear throughout the cooler months. So yeah, this is Toasted Honey, and this is by Victoria's Secret. The last fragrance that I have on this list is more of an honorable mention because I'm not really a fan of this fragrance, but I try not to do that. I try not to not talk about fragrances that I'm not a fan of. I could clearly see why people like this fragrance. I like this fragrance, but it's not a love for me. And the other reason why I wasn't gonna bring this fragrance up is because I cannot smell the actual Pear note in this one, but everybody else can, okay? It's La Belle by Jean-Paul Gaultier. I'm getting something sweet, tart. There's something fruity here, and I could imagine that that's the Pear that everybody else is able to pick up. But because of that vetiver, that pulls very strong in this fragrance. So if you don't like vetiver, you probably won't like this fragrance. It's very rustic smelling, very earthy. The vanilla here is also very prominent. It's very sweet, but it's not pulling like your typical vanilla extract type vanilla. It's pulling more oriental than Gourmands, but it's a bit gourmand at the same time, so I don't want to say that. You also get some florals in here. Very complex fragrance, very unique. Never smelled anything like this, but if I'm being honest, I don't get Pear. But I know for a fact, if I didn't add this fragrance to the list, there'd be a bunch of you guys saying, oh my God, I can't believe you didn't add La Belle. So here she is, La Belle, okay? But she's an honorable mention. So that is it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what notes to do next. There's a couple of comments that came in saying I should do cherry. So I think cherry is gonna be up next. I'm also seeing almond. So I see almond coming up also. I do have a lot of almond fragrances. So we could do almond. I think next is gonna be cherry. Okay guys, so that is it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you found it super helpful and enjoyable and entertaining, go ahead, like this video. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. That's it for me. Bye.